everyone, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today I'm sitting here with Alicia Phoenix, our head of marketing. I'm Jodi Harrison, the CEO of Prolong Lash.
How you doing today?
I'm good. Yes, today, but a little bit nervous about the topic we're going to hit today.
You're nervous?
Yeah, a little bit nervous because everyone's jumping the gun and everyone's getting a bit anxious about it. So what are we talking about?
Let's talk about, is the lash industry really dying? There's been chat on the socials, on the lash groups, around the lash industry generally, what's going on. People are saying, oh, I've been a bit quiet. I've had the least customers I've had in years. But I've also seen people say, what are you talking about? I'm fully booked. It's just normal. So what is really going on in the lash industry?
What is going on in the lash industry? We're going to delve straight into that today. But I suppose the first thing we're going to look at is some market trends. Let's go more broad than just in your salon. Let's have a look at market trends. So One of the things I was going to say was, we've had so much growth after the last decade.
It really boomed.
The sector went, even through COVID, like we had that real boom through COVID because obviously people wearing masks, their lashes were on display. So we sort of haven't had a decrease at all in 10 years. And so anything we're seeing now that's coming down a little bit, people are panicking and making changes. And when really it's because it's one of the sectors that had the biggest growth.
And so now we're seeing some stabilization within the industry, aren't we? It's just like a lot of areas, businesses and, industry areas really boom. And then it gets to a saturation point and then you just see that stabilization. There's a lot more competitors out there. There's a lot of people becoming lash trainers and creating more lash artists. It's a lot easier to become a lash artist than it used to be because there's so much more access to online training and things like that. So there are more competitors out there for the lash artists.
And don't be nervous about that because obviously if a sector's taken off, it's like any industry. If a sector's gone absolutely crazy and is hitting its peak and everyone's going, look at this lash industry growing, of course you want to get into it.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to get into it. So the ones that are going to be to ride the wave of this stabilization are the ones that got into it carefully and considered all the professionalism about it and didn't just jump on board and do a quick course and then become involved. So now it's going to separate those that have come into the industry as just when it was riding high and those that have really got the ability to maintain and to stay and their salons stay busy and people don't leave them because they're well trained, because they sell good products, because they do give good services. So you're really going to notice the cowboys from the Indians as it comes along here, as they say. Oh, that's what I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the people that are passionate about it and are doing really the right things and making sure that they're trained, up to date, getting all of their approvals and insurances and doing everything right, they're the ones that are going to be able to sort of weather this stabilization, and it will weed out the people who are maybe just doing it as a hobby or aren't so passionate about it.
So one of the things we're really noticing as well is the advancement of the techniques and advancement of technology, and people are bringing so many new things to the sector. So it's an exciting time. As much as we are seeing that stabilization of the industry, people are being smart and bringing different things in, and that's also separating people.
Yeah.
You've done your work with the UV.
Yes. Well, I was going to mention it, though people are probably sick of me hearing about UV, but I think we can talk about how consumer behavior is kind of driving some of this trend to stabilization and less so in the growth. And people have become allergic to lashes over time. Not everyone, obviously, but when you lose those clients that are passionate about eyelash extensions and they develop an allergy to them, you are losing those clients permanently, essentially. Like even if they love lashes, they can't get them anymore. And though some people can treat their allergies and maybe stick it out for a bit longer, inevitably many of them do drop off and become clients that you can no longer see. Whereas there are these great initiatives coming in, like UV lashes, my favorite, and just really reducing the chances of people getting reactions. And we are seeing those clients that dropped off before being able to come back and get lashes again.
So it's an option.
It does.
Like the developments are giving them an option. So as a person that struggles to wear the lash extensions all the time, it's nice that you're seeing different things come out for you to try. And also salon owners can offer different services. So even though we're all in competition, so to speak, with each other because it's our industry, we all have different things. Like we're Prolong Lash, we're aftercare. Someone else does UV, someone else does DIY, someone else does lash aftercare, lash extensions. So there's all these broader services in the industry. So it's creating more space for people to join and not to take too much off everyone that's already in there.
And let's talk about DIY that you just mentioned, because I think that's another consumer behaviour that's kind of driving
stuff going on with at the moment, isn't there?
There is a very interesting things going on with DIY, which we can delve into in just a second. But I think that has driven a lot of fear within the lash industry when DIY kind of boomed and took off as another industry in itself, that people were pivoting over to DIY and doing their lashes at home and maybe taking a break from their extensions or stopping getting their extensions altogether because they can do it at home. Now, with this new revelation that's just happened, Lashify, who essentially invented DIY lashes, just won quite a groundbreaking legal case against two Chinese manufacturers of DIY lashes who were infringing on their not copyright.
Their patents.
Their patents, yes, that's right.
Her list of patents is unbelievable.
Yeah, she's got a huge amount of patents.
Over 200 patents, even down to the process, not just the product.
Yeah.
It's actually the process, isn't it?
Yeah, the actual application. The process of putting a lash underneath and applying from underneath is patented. I can't say that word. This is my ophthalmologically tested. You can't say ophthalmologically. I can't say patent. You're going to have to say all those for me.
That's all right.
But yeah, she's actually got a patent on that application process, which really was going to ruffle some feathers in the industry because it means that they're selling these products saying you need to apply it this way, and they actually can't. They're infringing.
And they're going to come at, I mean, I'm all for people not copywriting. Like, I'm all for it being an original idea. We've been a foaming pump for years and years, and everyone wants to have a crack at us. We've been doing that for years. But this woman has said she's not going to stop.
Good on her, kind of. I mean,
she's not going to stop because she brings everyone down.
Like, why should she be ruined by people that
copycats?
A lot of people don't even know that they're infringing, which is crazy, because obviously these manufacturers are manufacturing lashes for these other companies. And so if you think a manufacturer can create something for you, you may not necessarily realize that you have to be investigating the patents on that product, but you do. So that was a big thing for the lash industry, a big problem that has caused a lot of clients to sort of leave the eyelash extension industry and join the DIY industry. But quite frankly, I think DIY lashes are kind of doomed in a way.
There's a lot of people out there that have this process. I mean, we don't like to see anyone not being able to run their business. We're all about empowering and running business and coming up with ideas. But I mean, if you're copycatting, if you are using something that even if you didn't know and they're going to come after you, it's going to be a really hard time for some people with their businesses. So come back to lash extensions.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
The lash extensions might grow.
I do think lash extensions will be more desirable. Wow, I'm going well. Desirable again once so many of these DIY companies are going to be liquidized, I think, because either they're going to be sued by Lashify or they need to shut down before Lashify come after you. So I'd be checking your patents, and then but as a lash artist who's doing eyelash extensions, your lash customers are coming back, I think. You know, it's Lashify's lashes, DIY lashes are very expensive. They're beautiful quality. We've used them. Yeah, we've used them ourselves. I have a pack of them on my desk at the moment, actually. And they are fantastic, but they're actually not very cheap. Like, it's not like when you go to get lashes versus doing DIY and there's a huge difference in price. When you buy Lashify lashes, there's not a massive difference in price, and there is the inconvenience of having to do it yourself. So I think customers are going to come back to eyelash extensions.
I suppose they had to be expensive so she can cover all her patent costs.
Good on her.
Good on her. Well done. Anyway, moving on. So everyone's telling us in America that we're having the recession we have to have, and they're drip feeding this fear really through people that it is a tough time. Now, we know it's a tough time, and here down under, it's a tough time. So consumer behaviour is really shifting. People are, is the lash industry considered a luxury item? Is it an area where it's a beauty product that you could live without maybe? This is one thing we're noticing, is that people are saying, well, something's got to give because I have to eat. So it's a really tough time.
Yeah. Lashes are often the first to go, and beauty is often the first to go when people are having a hard time. Cost of living is obviously a huge issue. Like you said, they're likely drip feeding this recession through. So yes, beauty services are usually one of the first to go, especially if you can do it yourself at home. Like, you know, you can do a box dye at home, you can paint your own fingernails at home. Back in the day, you couldn't do your own eyelashes at home, so often they made it through when economical times were tough. But now that people can DIY at home, they are feeling the pinch of this recession / cost of living crisis. But if we've learned anything from the past, history repeats itself. The lipstick effect is huge. As soon as, you know, people start to feel that this ongoing cost of living is not going away, you know, everything catches up, people come back to their beauty again. So after, you know, serious times, Great Depressions, wars, things like that, in previous historic, you know, times, lipstick sales always went up again because people want to...
You sound like an encyclopedia today. Sound like I've gone back to school.
People want to look good when lifetimes are tough, you know. They want to still feel like themselves. They want to feel like they've had a hard time, and they want to make themselves look good and feel good. And it's happened time and time again, and it will happen again. People will come back to lash extensions, and I don't even think people have left it in straight that people feel like, oh, lash industry is dying. I just don't agree. I think that there are people having breaks, and I think there has been a saturation of lash artists out there, so there's not as many clients to share around. But those people that are having break due to economic circumstances, I truly believe they'll come back. They've come back every time.
There was an interesting article that I read recently about Simone Biles is doing a tour, and it's called the Golden Tour, and she's taking it around the US. So all the Olympic gymnasts from the US that won their medals, they're touring around at the moment. I just happen to be in Boston in a couple of months, and I've actually booked a ticket to go and see her. When I was reading about how exciting this event's going to be, she actually said that everyone comes up and asks where she gets her lashes done. And they talk about lashes are quite a bit, because if you actually look at that footage from all the athletes, from runners through to the gymnasts, their lashes are massive. Apparently, in this article, that the increase after the Olympics, there was a really high influx in that 4 or 5 days of the track and field and the gymnast events, and the industry went up then. So there you go. We just have to get Simone. Hi, Simone. Hope I get to meet you. Out there doing their flips and whatever else, and the industry will go up.
There you go. There can be influencers anywhere.
And also you've got, that's one side of it. The other side you've got to look at with consumer at the moment is a lot of the advertising and marketing around is about the natural look again. So people are going a lot more natural, and they're going with either the classic set of lash extensions or mascaras. Like you actually see them doling it down a little bit, not so glammed up. What do you think of that? Do you think that's really what's happening?
I do think that there is a trend towards a natural look now, and that is a bit of a change from that mega volume that's really been, you know, the very prominent eyebrows, the very thick lash extensions, but also natural is not for everybody. And, you know, mega volume was never for everybody either. I still had plenty of friends that still got their lash extensions and they just got classics. You know, if I get lash extensions, I get classics, even when mega volumes were the thing to have. So it's personal preference, and people are still going to want mega volume. And, you know, it doesn't matter if people want natural. You can do natural lash extensions.
So I think what we're trying to say here, I think the trend is for us today talking about is there's the pros and cons of every argument. Yes, the industry is a little bit stabilised, but it's not a bad thing. It's for lots of reasons. So don't read into it one way or the other. If someone's not using the classic and going to volume or vice versa, don't read into it, because there's another side to it. So it's not dying.
It's not. I've got
not
some
dying.
stats for you.
Right, we've got stats.
I've got stats. I'm
Let's
going
read
to
some
get my
stats.
paper out
Right,
because I
read
want to
some
get
stats.
these
Here we go.
correct, and I
Right.
don't have a good memory for numbers. All right, so Data Intello tells us that the global eyelash extension market is currently valued at USD $1.65 billion. Okay, and
Just a little share of that.
that would be nice. And is projected to reach USD $2.65 billion by 2030. So it's at a growth rate of 6.95%. And I think that is good. It's like there's still growth there. This is not scary. And I'm going to tell you globally now as well from the Global Market Insight Inc. They're telling us that globally, especially in North America and Asia Pacific, so that's great for our US and Australian listeners here, that the market globally is expected to reach $3.05 billion by 2032.
So see, it's a myth. Just keep doing what you're doing. Be good at it.
Yeah,
and don't knee-jerk react and panic and yeah, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
we're there. Three. Look at the increase. It's only 7 years.
Yeah,
6 or 7 years, and they're expecting that increase.
Yeah.
So I suppose wrapping up a little bit, let's talk about what you as a business can do to ride this wave, so to speak. So one thing I've noticed is the companies that are becoming a lot more sustainable and eco-friendly are drawing a little bit of the market away from other people. So we ourselves at Prolong have been working on this for a while, and we notice our packaging, our cartons, everything that we do is much more sustainable and eco-friendly, and we've taken probably a little bit of the share of the market of those who aren't. Coming out of China, products coming out of China, which we know are inferior products anyway, but they're also packaged differently and in bottles that are different. So I think thinking about sustainable options might be a little bit of an outlay to start with. There might be a little bit, you don't see changes straight away except yourself knowing that you're being good for the environment. But there is an outlay cost-wise. Then you're taking in a sector in the market that is very, very responsible, and that only shop with people that are sustainable.
You and I actually went to a breakfast recently that was run by a company that does global data analysis, and they were telling us that some of the biggest trends coming up for consumers coming up next year is that people are looking for eco-friendly options. They're also looking for value in their products, so they're looking for price, competitiveness, and
loyalty programs.
Yeah, they're looking for something that they can be rewarded for their loyalty to your business. But eco-friendly was a huge one, and there are ways that you can be an eco-friendly salon. We actually have a blog about that, so you can jump onto our website and look at our eco-friendly blog. It's got lots of tips on there, but obviously using brands that strive to be eco-friendly themselves, and then thinking about your particular environment, and small changes that you can make a big difference. Because if everybody is making small changes, that's better than just one person making all the changes perfectly. There's some quote about that.
I can't remember, but I know you were looking at me like, do you remember it? And I'm like, no.
You can do my mind.
What about the digital shift? What about this digital shift now, the e-commerce shift of online interviews and online, consultations?
Sure. So there are ways that you can shift to a digital, like obviously providing a service, it's hard to shift to a digital world, but there are elements in your business that you can definitely shift to digital. So you can do online consultations. If you're wanting to, save a bit of salon time when they're coming in, you can do your online consultation forms that they fill in before they come in. You can get your client rather, to send in a photo of themselves, so you can do your consultation and mapping before they even get to the salon. There's some beautiful mapping apps out there. There's one created by Maven Artistry. I'm always spooking her, but she's very innovative and thinks of very clever ideas. And so you can do your mapping and everything digitally before your customer even gets to you, which is cool. And of course, online e-commerce, like retail, is important. Like if your client forgets to grab their lash cleanser when they're at their appointment, they go home, what are they going to do? Pop down to the chemist and buy some baby shampoo or some other thing, micellar water to wash them with or something like that? You don't want them to do that. We don't want them to do that. So having an e-commerce store on your website is a really handy way for your customers, and not even your customers. You can snag other customers. Maybe the lash artist down the street doesn't sell aftercare at all. You can sell that online to customers as well and make a good, retail.
Extra revenue, just that extra revenue. And it's very easy to set up too if you want some advice on that. I'm sure we've got either a blog about that, or you can just email me direct and I can talk you through. It's very easy to set up a Shopify store, driven by Shopify, and download some photos and put a price list in, and then you can start to market that yourself and say, hey, if you forgot this, and
yeah, absolutely.
Extra stream of income.
Mm-hmm. We also have our very helpful friend Matt, who creates EDMs and builds websites. So if you really wanted, handed it to you on a plate, we could do that. We can help you build a website through referring you to Matt, who is our excellent EDM and website guy, and he knows so much about the lash industry. So he's a great person to...
And we also have the template.
Yes.
We also have a template. We actually have a template of a website build that we can help you ourselves.
Yes.
But yeah, so there are options. Don't be nervous about starting up a digital store, and it is the way of the future, and people aren't going into retail stores as much these days. I know I don't.
Yeah, and please have bookings online. I can't stand if you have to text someone or send people.
You can't see her rolling her eyes, or some of you can. She's rolling her eyes.
Don't want to call you. I'm sorry. And you don't want people calling you. It's a waste of your time. It's, you could be with a client. You're not going to pick up. If you miss a phone call, it's a missed booking. People aren't going to call you again. Just get a booking app on your website, please.
Or do what I do when I ring around. I ring around if I need something, not so much lashes, because Alicia would kill me if I went to someone else. But I ring around, and if it's for whatever it's for, and I ring, the first one doesn't pick up, I go to the next one, the next one, the next one.
If you miss a phone call,
you
lose a customer.
Kind of girl like that.
Yeah. Online booking, please.
And of course, if we help you out, you might want to put Prolong on your store, because we have good aftercare.
We do. We have the most loved aftercare in the world.
Put that on there. So anyway, I hope that you did get something out of today. It's an interesting topic, but as we've said before, please don't overreact. Please don't knee-jerk react, and don't lose sleep over it. Just be confident, be proactive, take some tips about what we've talked about, and remember why you got into the business, because I think everyone's passionate when they first get in, and that kind of dies away because stuff at home, or trying to re-educate, or going back to training, or whatever you're doing. Remember the passion, remember the reason why you got into the industry, and maybe don't focus on the percentages too much. That'd be my advice.
Yeah, the lash industry is not dying. It's not going anywhere, so I don't think there's any reason to panic. And if you want to keep on seeing how excited we are about the lash industry, jump onto our Instagram page, Facebook, TikTok. We have a new podcast. Well, it's not even that new anymore.
No.
We've had it for a little while now. We have our podcast, The Aussie Lashwise, where you can take us around in your pocket and we can tell you all about business and lash stuff. And please like our video, of course, and subscribe if you want to keep hearing all of our tips and tricks for keeping a lash business running. And if you want to buy Prolong Lash, jump onto the website at www.prolonglash.com and .au for Australia.
Thank you so much for listening today, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.